Thank you. Whew. It's interesting to be back here. You know, the last time I was here was a Christmas Eve service about 5 years ago, Joe, at least. But this was my home for 19 years. I was the minister here. And we went through a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of good times. We had a lot of things we did enjoy. And we also lost an awful lot of friends.
Yeah.
And we're still losing friends because we're all getting old. And if you don't believe that, look in the mirror every day. If you can see past that looking old part, then you might see the spiritual revelation of who you actually are. And that's the important part. That's the part that we need to remember. You know, Jericho Whittaker was a great teacher, a great speaker, a great motivator, and she gave a lot of purpose to my life in the beginning of my metaphysical journey. Three things actually helped me to get where I am today, which is semi-retired and having fun. Okay, that's the important thing. The first of those things that got me on the path was sobriety. I've been clean and sober for 47 years. And it saved my life. But when you're ADD, you're hyper, you're bouncing off the walls, and you quit sedating yourself, guess what happens? And you're crazy. And you start, it's either looking for somebody to hurt, somebody to pick on, somebody to get out of my way, or hide. Not much for hiding. Okay? So I started going to the gym. I started training. I found out I was pretty good at it, and I started working out, and it burned off just enough energy for me to be mellow enough to enjoy my life and to actually interact with other people. You know, otherwise we're like, get away from me. You know, I don't want to listen to you. But I learned I could listen to them. I didn't have to believe them, didn't have to agree with them, but I could listen to them and get my life, you know, in order and interact with people, which was strange for me because I didn't do that very well. Well, I did it very well, but I didn't know who the hell I was. You know, when you're drunk and loaded out of your mind for, 6-7 years, you don't really know who you are until you finally clean up and get sober. And the third thing that really contributed to saving my life was science of mind. My friend, my ex-wife, we started going to Jericho Whittaker services in San Diego. She was my first spiritual teacher that I actually listened to and understood and heard and believed and really resonated with, and it made a big difference in my life. It's such a big difference that I'm still doing it. And I haven't ever done anything in my life for that period of time because, nothing else mattered, nothing else was that good. So it was an interesting journey, interesting path, and for sure, it's still going on. That's the important thing. And some of the quotes today were right on the money. That Joe, when he says, God is the only person that I really have to please. God is the only good. That's the only one I report to. You interact with other people, you make people friends, you interact with them and work with them and do things, but the only thing there is God, Spirit. If the word God bothers you, use the word Spirit. If the word Spirit bothers you, use the word God or use the word higher power. There's so many teachings out there that have so much for us to learn from. So many paths to the spiritual journey that we're on that sometimes we limit ourselves by saying, oh, well, I'm this, or I'm this. You're not this, so I don't want to talk to you, things like that. We separate ourselves from other people that have a great message, and just because you're not doing what they do doesn't mean what they're doing is good. And just because you're not doing what they're doing doesn't mean what you're doing is good. Okay? So you have to learn how to put everything in perspective, how to take everything and say, how can I use this? There's stuff in the Bhagavad Gita, there's stuff in the Holy Quran, there's information in the Celtic teachings, there's information. My biggest thing, as Joe knows, is Native American Indian teachings. It helped me really get through a lot of stuff that I've done. Sweat lodges, drumming circles, we did medicine wheel workshops here, drumming on a regular basis. So it's a path that you have to really decide if it's for you or not. And as soon as I started studying the Native American teachings, I resonated with it, and I knew it was part of my background and part of who I am. So I've been doing it continuously. I'm still doing some workshops now and then. I've been to Sedona, did a great workshop up there, did a medicine wheel workshop. and a drumming circle, had 60 people. It was incredible with the energy there. So, I'm going to ask you a question. We're 2 weeks into 2024. Has anything changed in your life?
Yeah.
Okay. Has anybody here decided to make changes in 2024?
Yeah.
Not New Year's resolutions. Okay. You know, that's what happens. That's why the gym gets real busy over at 5 Star for the month of January, and then in February it goes back to normal. We go back to just the normal, same old. But people think that if they say they're going to change something, it's going to change. It doesn't work that way. What works is action. What works is speaking your word, and we're going to talk about that in my talk, which I'll get to here sometime, I think. But what really is the important thing is you speak your word and you say what you want to change, and then you have to do something about changing it. You know, if you want to lose weight, you can't just keep eating the way you've been eating all your life. That's your problem. If you want to quit drinking, you can't keep drinking and say you're going to quit drinking. What you have to do is make a change. Physically, make a change. Mentally, make a change. And spiritually, make a change. You know, all the answers are out there. There's nothing that isn't known. It's just, are you willing to receive the information you need to make it work for you? That's the critical part, because a lot of us, anybody here ever heard of the what do they call it, the avoidance syndrome, or the people that have the, hey, come help me, and then you get close to them and they go like this. You know, you give them information and you say something to them, and I don't want to hear it. I know how to do it. Well, evidently, by looking at your life, you probably don't really have it down pat yet. You know? And that's a judgment, which I'm not supposed to make.
Yeah.
But I was just making an observation. You know, if they say they want to be happy and run around upset and tired and angry at everybody all the time, they're not happy. Okay? So you got to look at that and say, am I doing what I say I'm going to do? Because that's the only thing. Action is the only thing that works. You know, you got to get off your, off the sofa. I'll be a little more nice today than I usually am when I was up here for 19 years, right, Joe? But you just got to realize that you speak your word, and guess what happens? It happens. But if you speak your word and you're full of doubt, you're full of fear, you're full of shortcomings, you have ideas that it ain't going to work already before you start, guess what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You're going to have more of the same. You know, condition, status quo. Okay. So, everything we do in our lives, in some way or another, involves a relationship of some sort. Correct? Everything. Okay. We have relationships with our mates. We have relationships with our employees and bosses. We have relationships with our neighbors. We have relationships with our cats and dogs and animals. Those are the best ones, actually. I say, well, you own a dog and you have a friend forever. You own a cat and you're a slave forever. You know? That's the truth. We've got 4 cats, so that's not. But every interaction, every gathering of 2 or more people is a relationship. Granted, some are more involved than others, but they are all a relationship of some sort. And relationships are all part of the creative process. So let's talk a little bit about the creative process. Okay? That's an important thing we want to look at. The quote we read earlier says, creation does not mean making something out of nothing. Creation is the passing of spirit into form. Spirit into form. In spirit, everything already exists. God doesn't make things. Things are there. It's already part of what God has created. Okay? If we want it, we have to be in tune with it. We have to find out how to get into a spiritual tune, a physical tune, and a mental tune so that we are tuned in, like the guitar, like the harmonica, tuned in to what's going on. Okay? And we have to let that vibration, that energy, come into us, work through us. Okay? It also says, in creation, you provide the lamp for the light, the channel for the expression, the vehicle for the manifestation, and God does the rest. See, God does the hard part. We have to do all the groundwork. And the groundwork is tough. It's tough because changing who we are, changing our thoughts, our actions, and how we feel about things is very tough. Because most of us are set in our ways. Anybody here not set in their ways? Anybody here just willing to go with anything that's going on? And somebody tells you something, you just jump in there besides Ann? You know, somebody said, let's go do a drawing circle. And you say, I've never done that. Good reason to do it. You know? Don't hold back. Don't balk at things that might change your experience of life. And not only will they change your experience in your life, it will change your life. So I say, you know, we've got to get out there. It has been stated many times, the power of creation can work for you only as it works through you. And by God, that's so true. People can tell you what to do. People can show you what to do. People can help you to do it. And if you don't do it on your own for the right reason, it ain't going to happen. It's not. You know, people want to quit drinking. Why do they want to quit drinking? Because their mate is bad all the time. They won't let them spend any money. They're broke. Why do they want to quit? For somebody else? Doesn't work. Changes don't work unless you're doing them for your own well-being and your own good. You know, your mental good, your physical good, and your spiritual good. Okay. So let's look and see if we can remember how to be a co-creator, and to remember that we are not God. Okay. We do not create. Only God or Spirit creates. Our role is to let God move through us, allow Spirit to move through us in that spiritual creative process. Our role in the overall scheme of things is to maintain a consciousness of unity with the spiritual self, our own spiritual self, to agree with the principles of the higher vibration of God. So we put God doesn't change for us. We change for God. We change into the channel, the entity, the energy that will help us achieve what we want in our life. And we do that by aligning with Spirit, aligning with God, aligning with that spiritual purpose. Now, how do you align with God? What are some of the things you do to get in alignment with God? Anybody have a suggestion? One?
Meditation.
Meditation?
Prayer. Nature runs.
Say again?
Nature.
Nature is good. What else?
Prayer.
Prayer is good.
Art, music.
Art, music's good. All those things are part of God, because everything that's beautiful and everything that's creative is part of God. But we have to put ourselves in a space where that God can find us, work through us as it works for us. Okay? Those principles, wellness, you know, if you're healthy, you're more in alignment with God. If you're in harmony with Spirit, that helps, you know, you're thinking the same thoughts that the Spirit believes in. Abundance is proving that God works. Divine order, you know, there's all kinds of things. Chanting, meditation, drumming, you know, hiking, walking, breathing, you know. Anything else you want to add? Because there's a bunch of them.
Horseback riding.
Horseback riding, all right.
Eating chocolate.
Eating chocolates, there you go. And that's of course you're trying to lose weight. And then you get sugar-free chocolate.
Yeah.
They make a ton of them. They're great, okay? See, when you are in agreement with this kind of spiritual thinking, you become the conduit for the expression of these divine ideas. You become the conduit. The energy flows through you, as you, for you. The quote, creation is always beginning but never ending. Things may come and things may go, but creation goes on forever. So all you're doing is tapping into a small part of it. You can't use up creation. You can't use up God's ability to create things, because God is infinite. What you can do is take as much as you can accept. Take as much as you're willing to have. Take as much as you think will make you a better person and feel better and like people more. You know, if there's anything I got to work on in my life, it's liking other people. You know, it's been the way I am in my life. I've got a lot better. Okay. And I find out I got a lot better because when I'm in the gym, I work with people. I help train people. I'm a coach. I train powerlifters. You know, I've been competing for 45 years as a world champion powerlifter. And I'm in a powerlifting Hall of Fame. Aren't too many Hall of Famers in Yucca Valley. For anything. Okay? So for me, it was a way of expressing myself, of burning off energy, and I found out pretty good. You know, my life partner, girlfriend, Catherine Hilton, she didn't make it here yet. We had somebody at the house that was doing the work for us, and she had to be there. But she started powerlifting 3 years ago. Since that time, she's been in 7 or 8 competitions. She's won all of them. She's won 2 national titles and a world title. She's 68 years old. Wow. And she has had for a while world record squat, world record bench, world record deadlift. But then these little girls that are just turning 65 come into the same category and took the records away. So she's going to take some of them back, and then when she turns 70, she's going to set them all over again. Okay? That's how you do it. This idea that creation is always going on, it's a great, wonderful concept. For it means there will always be a manifestation of divine ideas. There's no limit ever on divine ideas. The limitation is on you being able to accept them and embody them and produce them. To be a co-creator with the presence and power within, you must learn to cooperate with spirit. But anybody here ever have a problem of making sure they want to do it their way? Okay. Does that always work? Okay. So learning to cooperate with spirit kind of takes you out of that path of head-on collision with whatever you're trying to get or trying to keep from getting. You know, that head-on doesn't work very well. You know, everything winds up being harder than your head, for me anyway. And it's usually more your heart that you got to worry about than your head anyway. You know, because your heart's the one that gets broken. Okay. So if we can't do it our way, guess what? What's the way you want to do it? Well, the way you want to do it is something in alignment with divine order, divine right action, creative process. Okay. One of the best ways to work with the law is to remember that my or our God's self is always thinking perfect thoughts. Are you always thinking perfect thoughts? Okay. Now here's the good part about that. If you're not always thinking perfect thoughts, that's not going to hurt you because you can change those thoughts. You can stop doing the things that are hurting you and start doing the things that will make you more empowered, make you more likable, more lovable, more healthy, more creative. Okay. When Joe first started playing harmonica, you know, whoever thought he'd be playing, and you know, at Pappy and Harriet's and playing in church and you know having fun with his stuff. You know, when I started drumming circles, I never thought I'd be going to Sedona, you know, up there in the great spiritual, attractive place, and having fun. It was great when I went the first time. It was like 40 years ago, and there weren't jeeps running around everywhere with tours and people. And the shops weren't all full and the restaurants weren't all full. But it's hard to go back to places that have changed so much over the years. Okay, Yucca Valley stayed pretty good, except for the Airbnbs. Okay. That's just my thought. Okay. Anything that I or we as a collective could possibly desire in the outer world is already included in that thought energy of the divine creative process. You don't have to make these things up. Guess what? They're already there. You have to figure out how to get in alignment with them, how to figure out to put them into your life, to make your life part of God's life, to make God's life all of your life. Okay? And we're human beings. Anybody here not a human being? I used to tell everybody I was a walk-in. I still believe I am. You know? I wouldn't have come here on first choice.
Right.
You know, I came here because there was an opening, and where I was at was getting hard. The heat was going up. So you know what I mean. So I came here, a little walk-in, you know. But guess what? Walk-in's not bad. You know, you come in here and you learn how to do it and you do the best you can. Doesn't matter what you're practicing, what your principles are, what your spiritual beliefs are. All we can ever try to do is the best we can. And if you're doing the best you can, there's nobody can fault you. And if you let them, then that's your fault. If you let them control you or judge you or make you wrong, that's your fault. Tell them no. You don't get to do that to me. You know, I've earned everything I've got, and I'm going to keep it. Okay. So the important thing is the power of God meets us on whatever level of consciousness we may be experiencing at any given time. Are you in a good place right now? If you're in a good place, great. Keep it going. Move it up another notch. Go up a little higher. If the vibration is great and you're feeling like you're tingling and the music sounds good and you like what I'm saying, hopefully, stay with it. Keep going. Okay. Keep moving up. That is why it's so important for all of us to share our time and our energy with other spiritually minded people. People that believe what you believe are good people to hang around. People that believe what you believe and maybe have a little more to offer than you believe right now, listen to them. See what the offer is. See how you can move forward in your life. Be happier, be more abundant, be healthier. For example, when we come together into this spiritual center, we are literally focusing the incredible energy and awesome power of the universe right here in the sanctuary. Everybody here has energy. Everybody here is on a spiritual path. I don't know all of you, I'm sure everybody's on a spiritual path of some type, whatever it is. If it's your spiritual path, it's great. And if you're getting benefits from it, if you feel better about it, if it makes you healthier and happier, and you enjoy life better, or you're able to accept things that you can't change and let them go, then it's working for you. I don't want you to change that. What I want you to do is be open to even greater things. See, we limit ourselves often, way too often. We say, well, I've got everything I need. No, I don't. You know, I've got everything I've got right now, but that doesn't mean that's everything I need. I've always had everything I need, but there are still a few things I want. You know, and wanting things is not bad. Wanting to improve yourself is not bad. Wanting to be a better person is not bad. Wanting to be stronger and healthier and more loving and kind and caring, it's not bad. It's okay to want that. I suggest the best way to do that is by focusing on your spiritual path and the creative process, which I'm talking about right now, okay? We are, when I wrote this part, I said, I can't really say that, you know, but it's just, it's not bad, it's just, it says, we are not just here to listen to someone standing at the podium. We are not here to relax for 1 hour and then go home feeling warm and fuzzy all over. No, we are here to experience and share God. Okay? One of the main ways to co-create is through the use of the spoken word. We've heard that quite a bit already, the spoken word. The spoken word is an awesome power, and we must learn to use it correctly. See, your spoken word can work both ways for you. If it's all negativity and all shut down stuff, it's not going to help you. If it's positive and powerful and enlightening and enhancing, then you want to use it. Ernest Holmes wrote, "The word gives form to the unformed. The greater the consciousness behind the word, the more power it will have." Okay? And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, great writers, great spiritual people, in the Dynamics for Living book, he says, if man conformed to the divine law, his word would make things instantly. Okay? So we have to clean up our thinking. When things start to show up, we got to be in alignment with the divine laws. In the Bible, Matthew 12:37 said, "By your word you will be justified, and by your word you will be condemned." Now, condemned doesn't mean, you're going to hell. Unless that's where you want to go, and that's where you're thinking about going, okay? What it means is your thinking will keep you on a positive path as long as your thinking is positive. Your negative thinking will put you on a path that's not so healthy, not so happy, and not where you want to be. See, the true consciousness behind the word is the power. Consciousness means the total collection of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs molded into a structure of awareness, understanding, and knowledge of the visible and invisible world. So you're here, but you know there's a greater experience. You're not limited from that greater experience just because you're here. You're limited here because of your thinking and how you're feeling and what you're doing. You verbalize your consciousness when you speak, the spoken word. Consciousness is the cause, and the word propels the energy according to the vibration of your own consciousness. And the result is what you see in your life. Now here's the question. What do you see? That's the important thing you got to look at. What do you see when you look in the mirror? What do you see when you meditate on your own life? Are you seeing positive things, things you've wanted to achieve and you've gotten, things you're still working for? Those are all good. If you see things you don't like and don't want, then you got to start removing them with the power of the spoken word also. When you are in this higher consciousness and speak the word with a clearly defined purpose, you are establishing a particular vibration in substance, in the universal substance, and the universe always says yes. The universe always says yes. So we got to look at what are we doing, how are we doing it, and why are we doing it. Those things help. So how do we get or stay in this state of higher consciousness? What do we do to stay in this consciousness? How do we make sure we're focused on it? We study, we learn the principles, we study other religions, we study other teachings, other spiritual practices. We do treatment work. Spiritual mind treatment is one of the biggest things in religious science. Meditation, always good, always powerful. It shuts you down long enough. Now, anybody here that can meditate and have their mind be completely blank? My hat's off to you. That ain't never going to happen. Not in this one. My mind goes on and on and on. What I can do, though, is ignore it. What I can't do is disregard it. It's like a TV screen. I can change channels. Like a computer. I'll change channels. Go for it, okay? Prayer, affirmative prayer, is always good to keep you in alignment with the spiritual principles. chanting, dancing, Sufi dancing, drumming, everything, okay? What are some of the things you should stop doing? Number one on the list, gossip. You know, you gotta cut that out, you know. First of all, you don't know if it's true. Secondly, it's gonna hurt somebody. And three, you know, why are you doing it in the first place, okay? Being negative, that's something we wanna let go of. Procrastination, any volunteers there? Anybody here procrastinate? Yeah. If you procrastinate, guess what? You're slowing down your own well-being, your own life, your own good. That's all it is. How about fear? Anybody heard that fear? Okay, we have fear of all kinds of crazy things that we shouldn't be fearful of. Because there is only you and God. Now, it's smart to be aware of your surroundings and go where you're supposed to go and don't hang out with the Crips and the Bloods in LA, you know, and make sure you're wearing the right color no matter what neighborhood you're in, because that'll get you done in just as quick, okay? So, there's a great many ways to do things, to do this. Let Spirit guide and direct you. You will find what's right for you. That's the important thing. So let me wrap this up with another quote. We note that the evolution of humankind's consciousness brings with it the acquisition of new powers and higher possibilities. That's all we're asking for, higher possibilities. Somebody to tell you that, yeah, you can do better. You can have better. You can enjoy life more, okay? And we got to share this. We got to share our new power and higher possibilities for the highest good of all concerned. It's just not you. Everything's a relationship, as I started with. This whole thing is a relationship. You got to be in a healthy relationship with as many people as you can, and serve as many people as you can on this planet by being the better person. Being the first to ask forgiveness, to apologize, to let things go that you can't control. Okay? So if you're willing to do some of those things, if you're willing to look at your life and say, okay, it's time. 2 weeks into 2024. 2024 and I want more. 2024 is better than before. 2024, 23, no more. Okay? I can make those up. Joe knows. I can make those alliterations up forever, right? And go on and on. I won't. What I want to do is I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. Not to you, with you. Share some of my ideas about how my life got better. And how the principles work in our lives if we let them. And then go for it. You know, that's all I can say. Thank you, God bless, and namaste.